Okay, if you could take your seats here, we will go ahead and get started. This is the Successful Reentry panel, moderated by Mary Ward, and I'll let you introduce the participants.
Good afternoon. I'm Mary Ward, and I am the North Carolina coordinator for Reaching Out from Within. They asked me if I would serve in this position part-time after I retired 3 years ago from the Department of Correction after 33 years. So I want to start by introducing the panel today and then the purpose of the panel. The purpose of Successful Reentry panel is to explore what elements are a part of successful reentry. We have 3 panelists, each from different perspectives. One from a DOC perspective, one from a nonprofit perspective, and one with personal experience in transitioning back into the community. So we're interested in hearing from each of these, their perspectives and insights in how to navigate reentry. So I'm first want to introduce Marcy Concater.
That's correct.
Who works for the Kansas Department of Corrections at Lansing Correctional Facility. Marcy, would you introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yes, I'm Marcy Concater. I'm the Assistant Director for Kansas Department of Corrections, Mentoring for Success.
Thank you. Helen Hurley is the Regional Program Director for a nonprofit organization, Connections to Success, which operates programs in Missouri and Kansas. Helen, please introduce yourself and share a little bit about you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Helen Hurley. I am the Regional Program Director for the Kansas City region. We have an office in Columbia, as well as offices in St. Louis and St. Charles. And our mission is to help individuals break the cycle of poverty by providing hope, resources, and a plan. And we're doing that both in the institutions in the state of Missouri, as well as the community in Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, surrounding areas, and then across the state.
Thank you. And we have Wayne Leslie. Wayne is a graduate of the Transition Center of Kansas City. He was released in 2023. Wayne, please introduce yourself.
My name is Wayne Leslie. I'm a former graduate of TCKC. I graduated in October of 2023. Thank
you. So just to get started, and of course you all please elaborate wherever you need to. And I can start with you, Helen. How would each of you define successful reentry?
For me, successful reentry is knowing that the individuals we serve have access to services. They also have access to living wage employment. And not just living wage, but a wage that allows them to attain their dreams, whether that be a car, a home, an education, maybe saving for their family. I know that one of our former participants, who's now one of our facilitator life coaches in Columbia, talked about how he was able to establish not just a savings plan, but also lifelong providing for his daughter, something he didn't think he could ever realize. And he said that was the most important thing for him when he released, was knowing that if anything ever happened to him, that his daughter would have funds to survive on, go to school on, and thrive on. It's also providing that opportunity for individuals to stay in the community and not have that revolving door back to the institutions. And it starts that first day that we meet people, building relationship and engaging them in the process so that it is their plan on how they can be successful once they come home.
Thank you. Marcy?
I think we utilize the programs that are built within Kansas Department of Corrections. One of those programs that I'm involved with is Mentoring for Success. So if they qualify to have a mentor, bring that mentor into their life. We bring them in a year while they're inside the facility. And importantly, we follow them 6 months into parole. Evidence shows that the first 30 to 90 days make it or break it. for that person connecting to community and feeling a part of community. We give them a chance to be a part of many programs, but we focus on that risk need area for how much dosage they get for each program. So we might look at if family is a part, connect them to their family. Of course, housing, most importantly, our weakest link, I would say, but find a strong place for them to live. Make sure that they have a job. Work with them on the inside, preparing for a job, learning career readiness where they can learn resume writing. They can do mock interviews with their mentors. They can learn what it takes to get a job to start, and then working on getting a better job. Transportation, of course, is very important. We like to, if they don't have a driver's license, look at making sure they have the ID that they need to thrive and function in community, but also really assist and help them focus on what jobs would look good and what transportation is available, the bus, a bike, family, whatever they need there. Also continuing education, if that's an option, and financial status to make sure that if they have a job or have funding or need funding, what that's going to look like to help get them started, especially if we're looking at transitional support within housing. Will they find a transitional house that might let them get a job and then help pay back what they owed for living there before they got a job? So we look at many, many factors in our criminogenic will, and we go over each one of those with the mentor during that first year in, and then we hit the hit the pavement running when they get to parole, work alongside that parole officer to let them know that that mentor's been there with that resident the whole year prior to release, and that they probably know them better than we do. Both mentally, spiritually, personally, they can help us really tune into things that we don't know about that resident and support them in their parole.
Awesome. Thank you. Wayne?
Successful reentry to me it starts from within you. You know what I mean? You have to first and foremost have God in your life, and for me personally, sobriety and recovery was a very big part of mine. Immediately getting into recovery AA meetings and NA meetings, and going to church, and then keeping that mindset of to strive for perseverance and to continue to do better and have a better life. And it definitely helps tremendously, the programs that I have had the opportunity to be a part of, from TCKC and Journey to New Life, and the Connections to Success. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for these programs, and I'm very grateful.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Helen, can you tell us a little bit more about Connections to Success and how your program prepares individuals?
Yes, thank you. Currently, we are working in Missouri institutions through a Pathway Home 4 grant from the Department of Labor, which is taking us in doing the pre-release work, providing 10 days of personal and professional development. That gets them work ready. We're doing career exploration. We do a little bit of personality testing. Who are you? And who were you before the world told you who you are? Helping them just really dig deep to find out what makes them tick and how they communicate. So as we're developing their resume with them, as we're working on their life plan, which has 13 key areas that they want to achieve that will be success for them, measured and defined by them with SMART goals, we're getting them ready to go out and get a job. And again, develop a career track. We're building that relationship from the day we walk in and introduce ourselves and the program that we're doing. And we want it to be a relationship with them, a relationship with their family, and a relationship with the staff. And we enjoy one heck of an incredible relationship with the Missouri Department of Corrections, both in the institutions in the field. We have a Department Justice grant that is working, it's a second chance grant, working with TCKC. And we're coming to the end of that in the sense of enrollment will cease and we'll do the follow-up. But again, those individuals are getting a resume, a life plan. They do mock interviews. We're also an affiliate of Dress for Success International. And so these individuals get suited professionally so that when they go out to interview for a job, they put their best foot forward. They're learning a 30-second commercial so that when they're asked to say, tell me a little bit about yourself, they don't just spill everything they want you to know. They tell you what you need to know, the skills that they're going to bring to your employment and what they can offer you. And believe me, there's a team behind them. All of our participants are given the access to a job developer education specialist, a life transformation coach, and then the rest of the connection staff as part of that team. And we work both in and out with individuals to ensure that they know who they're going to be working with. We also are working with Chillicothe on an Aspire 2.0 grant, which the women go through a very intense advanced manufacturing program before they take our 2-week program. And so it dovetails nicely in that they get to showcase those skills, but then they get to learn how they're going to sell those skills once they release. And so it's a very intense program that's being provided in Chillicothe, and we are seeing immense success of the women who are coming out, landing jobs in advanced manufacturing, if that's what they so choose to follow. And they're not starting at $12, $13 an hour. They're starting at $18 to $25 an hour. Some of them are walking into supervisor positions because of what they're learning while they're at the program in Aspire. We also have a fatherhood program through the Department of Social Services in the state of Missouri, which works with fathers who want to become part of their family again, that want that relationship, whether or not they and the co-parent can be together, they can work together. And likewise, in the state of Kansas, we have a 2-generation grant where we're serving whole families. Again, mom and dad might not live in the same home, but they can still connect for the best interest of their children and ensure that they too are receiving services. And they have wraparound services through that as well with Heartland 180, which does some of the parenting work, but they're also doing work with juveniles. And Transition Zone, which is also providing some key information to families on how to do conflict resolution at a peer level, and also human trafficking. Again, more of an informational program for parents to see those things that their children could be hooked into if they're not careful. In addition to all of that, we have a professional women's group where women can come and learn how to network. We have a professional men's group. It's a little slower to take off, but it's still there because we recognize men and women network differently. But we want them to build social capital because we know at the end of the day, that's really where people make those decisions is during networking. They may hear something that someone says that they don't recognize that they're a second chance hire, but they hear a skill that resonates with them. And so it's an opportunity to really work on those skills. Again, we do have wraparound services. They can come in and get more attire if they need to for work. We know that we want them to use that paycheck to pay for the things they need, whether it be housing, transportation. We take care of some of the other things, such as your hygiene. And again, looking at what other services can we get involved in. And lastly, we have a program with the Unified Government in Wyandotte County, working with juveniles who are in the juvenile justice system to provide the same 10 days of training. It's just spread out a little differently because, again, teens and youth learn differently than adults, and we recognize that. But they still need to have those same skills. They still need to be able to put together a life plan. What does it look like for them? They may not be going straight to employment. They may want to take care of educational needs first. So we have the resources to help adults and teens do that.
Wonderful. Marcia, you want to elaborate some on what you all are doing as far in the process with the Kansas DOC?
Thank you. Yes, mentoring started in 2011. In 2010, it was a vision of Gloria Geither, and you met her this morning, the Deputy Secretary of Corrections. At that time, I started working with her, and we went out into the community with the Secretary of Corrections to find mentors who might be interested and not afraid to come in and work with individuals who wanted to be part of mentoring. I can't go on without acknowledging our Director of Mentoring, Kylie Young, and our Administrator, Rena Kraft. In Lansing, we have Amanda Singer. I am the Assistant Director, but I also serve as the Northern Parole Liaison and Mentor Coordinator, and I also work in 4 other facilities as well as the 2 work release. So the older you get, the more work you do, I think. You know,
Do you sleep?
It's a passion. It's truly a passion. We have a Southern Region Mentor Coordinator in the Parole Office, and her name is Tanya Hesselman. Alex Smith is in Hutch, and Ken Davis is in the Juvenile Correctional Facility. To date, we have 9,330 matches that have happened, one-on-one original matches, and we have 620 in the juvenile facilities.
Wow.
I will tell you, there is nothing more important to me than mentors. When KDOC realized that we do punitive well, we run our prisons well, but what we don't do is know what's in community that can help our residents thrive when they release. What better tap in than to utilize community people who want to give their heart, soul, and talent to come in and help and work with our clients a year in and 6 months out. We believe very strongly in our been there, done that mentors, those who have struggled in areas that we might not be able to talk about. And believe you me, a player knows a player. Our mentors have made great strides with our residents and truly, truly see change by working with them week to week or at least once a month. We also really enjoy our men and women co-together workers. They really give a true vision of diversity, how a woman might feel about this, or how his wife might feel, or his girlfriend, or significant other, or partner. So that's really, really awesome. But don't get me wrong, mentors are amazing, just coming in. When COVID hit, we kind of spread our wings a little bit, and we started Mentoring 2.0. Mentoring 2.0 allows us to work with other clientele that would not necessarily qualify for the one-on-one mentoring, but those groups can help with group mentoring, including education opportunities, job support, helping with important documents like their IDs that they need to get before they leave, and also co-facilitate groups. We had many mentors who went through our program training to help residents get program credits, and they actually co-facilitate those classes so that we can do more classes and get more residents through the program credit classes. We also have light mentoring. That's just if someone, let's say they were taking the GED and didn't pass the math and are going to parole, that person can follow them out and help them get that math component so that they can pass their GED. Evidence shows that the difference between a high school diploma and GED and not is about $15,000 more that they can make a year just by having that certification. The focus remains on unique needs of residents, of course, tackling things like housing, transportation, IDs, substance abuse, family support, and education. We believe in addressing the whole person, creating a pathway of success for a smooth, successful transition to parole. One of the programs that our deputy warden helped us start this year in SEG was a program for anyone that was found altered. And they would go into A1, and we would have groups come in and do 12-step. It was so unique because it wasn't DOC going in there to tell them what to do, but it was community coming in. We had a crowding issue and had to stop that program, but that lead organization continued on. And the men in that group took hold of their group, named their group, and to this day, we have a waiting list to go into their group. They meet twice a week. They also have a 14-week class option, and then they have guest speakers come in and tell their stories. If any of you are interested in coming to tell your story, that would be the most awesome way to give back. People need to know that they have a chance. Our residents need to know that they have a chance on the outside. That group was named Rescue and Restore and Recovery, and the men named it, and it continues strong today. I want to share our newest project. I shouldn't say project, but it's really part of DOC, and it's the new East Campus. And that is, Gloria mentioned it this morning, it's on the hill. They named it East Campus. I call it the Hill. But it is for those who are of minimum custody and who have drug offenses. The campus provides a variety of recovery programs, including drug and alcohol classes and work release opportunities for qualifying individuals. We take great pride in listening to feedback of our residents, understanding the program and support they need, and working closely with our amazing mentors to make their vision a reality. We believe in creative sanctions, offering a holistic approach to reentry, and it's truly rewarding to see the residents apply lessons learned through our mentoring programs and succeed in the real world. Some of the programs offered at the East Campus are Inside Outside Dads, and that's a fathering program. We have Vineyard Church, who's known throughout minimum, medium, and max, and they now come to East. We have 7 Habits with Stephen Covey, and that's healing hearts and building communities. We have a one-stop program that's also in our other facility. And Reaching Out from Within. Can I get a woo-hoo? Woo! Jim Newendahl comes to the campus once a week and works with our guys in Reaching Out from Within. We have 4 mentoring 12-step programs. What the focus was for the East Campus is that if they go to work release, sometimes they're going to not be able to go to the 12-step they want to. But if we have a 12-step every night, they can learn if those triggers are there, I can still get help. We want to teach them how to fish and give what they have in community and learn to do that once they get on the outside. It's a wonderful example of how residents can contribute to community while they gain new skills. Neatest project that is in the works that I'm so proud of is our therapeutic garden. It takes up both sides of the living quarters at East Campus. It is huge. And we're going to have all vegetables on one side and then pumpkins and watermelon and the viney on the other side. And they are planting these from seeds. So they get to start from a little seed to watch it grow into something amazing. We're looking for 501c3s who would like to receive the reap of our sow. And we also have community supports and shelters in the homeless that we're going to give our proceeds to. If you'd like to be a part of this project or give a small donation to watch it grow, we would love to share the garden with you, and you will help get the proceeds. There's something in it for you. The campus is truly a special place, a place of growth and healing and transformation. I feel incredibly blessed to be working alongside each passionate mentor and the leadership who make this possible. Before I wrap up, I want to mention some fun extras that we've done at East Campus. We did and I should say that mentoring has also been involved with in the larger facility, minimum, medium, and max. We have 2 bands every Thursday. Our warden and deputy warden, Warden Howes and Deputy Warden Ball, corralled the mentoring team into their office and said, we want more leisure, we want more fun, we want things to happen. And so in 6 weeks last year, we had 2 bands every night from March till December 5th. And these are all genres. Everyone has come from the outside coming into play. In that, we found out that our warden played the saxophone in a band. Believe you me, when I said Kenny G, he said, don't say Kenny G. Because this is a rock band. This is an amazing band. And he kicked off this year's bands. And we have 2 bands, sometimes 3, every Thursday from March until October, the end of October. And that's how many outside people want to be a part of helping those inside and give them a piece of humanity. We've also had bingo night, a hot chocolate bar, of course the garden, woohoo. We have a clothing for success. If you have gently used items for men, we will take them, we put them up in our closet, and we make sure every man that wants a set of clothing has something to release out wearing other than their blues. And we have different organizations that have brought us socks and shirts and underwear so they all have something new to wear. We've also assisted with hygiene snack bags for our positive behavior residents. Our security will find someone doing something good. What a concept.
That's all.
What a concept. They'll find them doing something good. They'll write it up, but they'll let that resident be part of that journaling. Why did you do that? What were you thinking? What would you want to continue to do? What would you tell others? So mentoring has just been an amazing part of some real holistic changes at LCF. We had a talent show, so we are able to use some of the residents that performed in the talent show that are kicking off our bands coming in. So that's a great opportunity for them to share their talents. I want to give a special thanks to Deputy Warden Ball. Oh, Nick Ball. He has supported me through this journey, worked alongside me tirelessly to bring the vision to life. That's mentoring. Very proud.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Wayne, if you can tell us about your transition and where you got in your journey to where you are today.
Okay. Whenever I got to TCKC, I'm gonna be honest here. I really didn't want to change. I got a parole violation, and just to make my probation officer happy, I was gonna go through this program, do what I had to do, just so I didn't, go back to prison. And I'm not exactly sure what it was. I believe it was God that spoke with me, and something clicked after I was there for about 2 weeks. And me and a partner of mine, me and him got in trouble. We got caught stealing together, and we got our probation violations. And then coincidentally, we went to TCKC together on the same day. We both talked to each other, and we were just like, okay, well, I'm tired of this lifestyle. Let's do the thing. Let's get our stuff together. And so TCKC was, seeing other inmates residents there, doing the right thing and having that positive mindset trickles down to the people that just get there. You know what I mean? It's contagious that strive to do better. It's a really good thing. And so I started, went through all the classes, and I got everything I could out of all the classes. Some of them, some people don't like that. I tried to get something out of every one of them, and it just, TCKC really, makes you sit back and, kind of makes you do what you have to do to get better. And they also give you, a taste of freedom. And, I got the job I wanted. Whenever I got out, Journey to a New Life really helped me out tremendously. They helped me out with housing, got me an apartment, paid my first and last month's rent, and a few times where I was transitioning jobs, they also paid some of my rent when I was in between jobs, which is extremely helpful. And so today, I work for Ford Motor Company. I've been there for about a year now, and I start the truck side next week, which is I got a good job bid. And also I am doing online schooling right now just because physical fitness is kind of a passion of mine. I'm also going through online courses through National Academy of Sports and Medicine for to get my certified personal training certificate, and I also got my certified nutrition coach certificate. And I'm just extremely grateful for the program. I definitely know I wouldn't be where I am today without the program. So
Wonderful. And you may have touched on some of it, because I have a question, because up until I retired, for 22 of my 33 years, I was the Family Services Administrator for the North Carolina Department of Correction, Division of Prisons. So, of course, working with the families and the children and working with a lot of those programs under there. So, because when I started in 1988, it was like, well, what about the family? It was a long time ago. And it's come a very, very long way. And working, we know that not everyone will go back to family, but the majority will. And especially when it is a positive role models, with the families, and they want to help. I know I'd get some calls, and I'll never forget when wife called me one time, and she was like, okay, Miss Ward, I know he's getting out here, and about another year, she said, if he thinks he's going to walk back in this house and say, I'm home, I'm taking over, she said, he's got another thing coming. I've been holding down this household with the children for the last 5 years. So where do you and when, and a lot of them call and they say, I'm scared, he's coming home, what do I need to do? How do I need to help, with this? So where do you all, how does that fit in and fit in with the family? Because they are such a key, when it's positive, it's such a key to the success as well. So that's my pet peeve. And what I've done for the last 50 years, so.
One of the things that we have available to us is we have a curriculum called Success for Families. And it is there, and it's available for family members to come to learn how to be supportive, support for families. What does it look like when your loved one comes home? What are your expectations? Because sometimes setting those expectations really, really high is a setup for failure for the whole family, not just the person returning home. We do co-parenting. We do a lot of education around not just co-parenting, but social norms, breaking down some of those norms. What has mom been doing or dad been doing the whole time the co-parent was away? And then coming home, how do you integrate that person back into some of the roles that you've had to take and been doing very well?
Right.
Because it is a transition for the whole family. So our Support for Families curriculum is available. We have had people take advantage of it. It's hit or miss because a lot of times families are like, they don't have time.
Right.
You know, they're taking kids to school, they're taking kids to practice.
Yeah.
But it's there, it's available. And when we see families struggling, we just roll out that curriculum and say, let's sit down and go through some of these lessons. We can either do it individually or as a group. But then we also, through those life plans, work on how do you build healthy relationships? What do you need to do to then be supportive of the family that you're returning home to?
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
We also have curriculum and part of the program in the East Campus. In order to get to work release, you must have your full credits for the drug and alcohol classes, the SAP substance abuse classes, but also they have a, what's the name of that, Angela? Making Men, thank you, Helping Men Recover, which has a tie-in of family and fatherhood. Of course, we also offer the fatherhood program, and they're working with SRS right now to help lessen the state arrears on their child support so that more goes to the family, especially if there's arrears. So we're working on getting that started, but we just had a neat program. I think it was 3 Saturdays in a row, and we partnered with a company. Was that Discovery Center, Warden House? Yeah, Discovery Center. Thank you, sir. Children's Discovery Center, where we actually used Jermaine Wilson's church. Do you remember what he said in the start of his? It takes a village. We all need to work together. And his church hosted where our minimum custody, any minimum custody that qualified could go and meet with their children. And they had fun days that entire day, pizza, you know. It was kind of, I think the thing that was so inspiring to me is it gave them a chance not only to be with their children, to be in a safe place, but also have fun, that they're going to have dad home before too long and get to spend some time together. So we're really starting to incorporate a lot more options like that within KDOC and working on. I know they did that at ECF also, so it's a neat opportunity to build on that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
One of the things that we're hoping to launch sometime later this year with the Missouri Department of Corrections is a father-daughter dance. I don't know if anyone in the room has seen Daughters.
We've had a few in North Carolina, yeah.
If you haven't
Unbelievable.
seen it, it is an incredible documentary on the impact of fathers and daughters getting together in prison. But we want to take it a step further, and we want it to be all parents, looking at how can we incorporate opportunities for mothers and sons and just parents and children. But it will start with this dance, which we have a foundation that is backing it because they see the value. The children will have curriculum on how to interact with their parent who's incarcerated. Then they'll have follow-up services because we know that impact of going in and seeing dad maybe for the first time in a very long time is going to be so incredibly impactful and to some degree traumatizing when they have to leave, both for the father and the child. So there will be curriculum built around that, which is being built now to support that program. So we're really excited to get it off the ground. Former Senator Claire McCaskill's foundation is behind this and reached out to us in terms of wanting to put something together. So we're excited not just to have a father-daughter dance, but then to grow that into a parenting child program.
That's wonderful. We've had a few of those in North Carolina. Thank you. Wayne, as far as your family and helping out and how any of that that road to recovery or?
Getting out, one thing that was challenging was, a good thing, was getting out and being a role model for my son. And, because before he just for the longest time, he just seen me as a drug addict, and his mother too. And getting out and being able to show him what a man is supposed to be like, and you know, setting a good example. But one thing that's is challenging, but his mother is sober now too, which is good, and she actually lives in the apartment below me, so it's really nice to be able to see both of them every day, you know, whenever I want, and he can come upstairs and hang out for a little bit, and then when he starts getting bad and rowdy, I can send him back downstairs for her to deal with, and but one thing that's challenging that we have to keep in mind is even though we're better, and you know, I wouldn't say completely healed, but we have healed somewhat from our addiction. That the damage that has been done, you know, through our poor parenting decisions over time takes a little bit more time to correct itself, you know, but that's just something that we have to work on. But I mean, we are seeing progress, that's for sure, and it just feels good knowing that I'm a good man that he can look up to.
That's awesome. Thank you. Wonderful. That's because you know the parenting is so important, because I know the majority of women in our system are moms, grandmothers, and then we have all of the men that are their fathers, their grandfathers, and sometimes often we have the men that are being released, and they're the ones that get the custody, that are going to get that reunification with those children. In North Carolina, the Department of Social Services is working a lot more than they used to with the men. You know, it's always mom, but they're doing a lot better with that. One of the programs that we have in North Carolina and have had since 1975 is the Home Leave program, and it's a huge part of reentry when the resident is getting up to 14 to 12 months of being released, then they can be approved to participate in the Home Leave program through an immediate family member, that, you know, all of the checks are done and everything's approved. That could be mom, dad, wife, you know, husband, daughter, son, if they're 21, you know, and older. So once it's all approved, then they are given a chance right now, and I don't know if they've expanded it now or not, but for 24 hours in a month, they go home. They go to the home. And it's just such a wonderful preparation, especially when they don't have to be going there when they're released, but most often they are. So it's just a great part of that reunification. Yeah, 24 hours is not a long time, but it's better than 0 hours. Yeah. You know, where they are able to start looking at how this is how things are going, how it works, how things are going to be, and with the kids and mom coming back in the household or dad coming back in the household. It's just I don't know if it's any other state. I know years ago I think we were the only one that had it. I don't know if it's anywhere else or not. So they're able to go home at least once every 24 hours to start that process. You know, we've had some in the past where they've come back from a visit and he says, you know what, it's not going to work out with us. I think we're going to have to look at some, you know, and it's sad, but hey, he was able to be recognized before the situation may have gotten much worse. So there's just a lot of wonderful things that are going on here. Yeah, well, I was going to say we'll take some questions from the audience.
I'm glad. I want to piggyback on the conversation you were having about father-daughter dance and say how important it is for fathers to connect with their son, because oftentimes the girl in the home has her mother, her aunts, or other women, but boys are caved in their soul because that male presence is gone. But related to that, I'm from Kansas City, live in Boston now, and we're beginning to talk about not third grade to prison pipeline. We're talking about preschool to prison pipeline. And much of that preschool are boys of color, which begs my point that boys need a man. And so when we talk about reentry, I would love for you all to talk about not just reentry to the family, but reentry to the community. Is there a way that we could figure out how we stand in front of little boys and say, you do not want to go where I've been. You do not want to experience what I've experienced, and try to be clear with that so that we help frame little boys who've been told they're no good, you get out of my class at preschool. How can we change that paradigm?
I think it starts with having those conversations in the community and looking at how we then take it to the next level and provide the services. Because that was one of the things when they were talking about father-daughter dance, my question was, what are we going to do for fathers and sons? Because we know that that's probably far more underserved. And so they said, you know, it was sparked by this particular documentary, but they also understand we can't stop there. The other part of that is, part of our programming is we have individuals, it's called Coke and oil. Coke is the real thing, right? So we start with putting a little bit of Coke in a glass. What do we say when babies are born? You're beautiful, you're lovely, you're my prince. Then we talk about the negative, which is the oil, and the oil pushes the Coke down, and you see that bulb go off, that the words they're saying, they've heard. You're no good, you're just like your father, you're never going to amount to anything. Then we top it off with the Coke, which pushes the oil out. For them, that is that moment that they realize the words that they heard are sometimes the same words that come out of their mouth. And so then the lesson is, you know, how do you change that paradigm? Not just for you, but for all those littles in your life that you have that impact on. So we're doing some of those lessons, but we also know we've got to take it a step further and work with the fathers and their sons as much as we work with the fathers and daughters. The same with mothers and sons. It's got to start somewhere, and so it starts with those conversations and what's needed and how do we fund it, because we know those aren't going to just magically happen. Right. We have to have good planning. We have to have a solid curriculum, because if we just go in and do the work and we don't have something to then tie it back for those little guys, it's not going to do much more than just be an activity. We want it to be not an activity, but an experience, so that it grows from however young they are throughout.
And
Thank you.
I would just share 27 years of early childhood. No matter how many men you place in their lives, no one's going to replace that unconditional love of that missing father.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
give us ideas and let's create it.
Wait, did you want to say anything, Rebecca?
Yeah, I think that's honestly like the most important and underlining fact as far as crime and problems with the community. Because is personally what I've seen. I've been to prison a couple times myself, and I would say, being modest, as 95 to 98% of people did not have one parent or a mother or father in the home. I had a father, but my mother has been gone, and I think that that's probably the most important thing to do, is somehow, bring families back together, keep fathers in the homes, or make sure that the parents are a part of a child's life, because I think that is the biggest thing, the biggest common denominator in prison, as far as what everybody had in common, was that they were missing some type of parent.
Absolutely. Thank you. We have one more question.
as a family member of someone that was incarcerated for 25 years, I was a sister at 15 years old when he went away. I can speak on the fact of the trauma of the whole family, and not just my generation, but my mother, my aunts, grandmother, everyone is affected in that.
Absolutely.
So when he was talking about it's deeper than just the preschooler. It go to the womb because my newborn nephew was only 6 months. So when my brother came home at 25, my nephew did not know his father. So there was a clash. He wanted his daddy that had promised all those years he was coming home. So what I can speak on is the trauma is deeper, and the community does need to be asked where they can help. And also, I can say that outsiders people fear, but working with probation and parole, I've learned the stranger is the one that's really gonna help you, not the one that's already in the trauma, because they don't know how to navigate that.
Right.
So, thank you for being here and helping us, and even my family, Miss Sue Ellen, they helped us
Right.
during that process.
Thank you. Thank you all for telling us all the wonderful work you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think Greg said we've got, how many, 10 minutes? Oh, you have another question? What? I have 1 minute?
There's a question.
Okay.
Nice to meet you now. Thank you for your presentation. My question goes to the fact that the power of attorney, do you agree that the family is an agency with power of attorney to the children? Listen, if you in corrections have the power of attorney over individuals' lives who are in prison, what does that say about the recidivism when you talk about reentry? Who has the power of attorney over individuals' lives in the criminal justice process? We're talking about family reunification. It is a non-negotiable instrument that families have to be put together, put back together. Who has the power of attorney over these families? What agency? Is the family an agency in community life, community health? Is the family an agency within itself? Come on now. Come on, we can't get stuck. We got to answer each other.
There's so many factors that go into that. Is the family healthy? Is the family struggling? Is the family whole? There's so many,
Is the family even there?
yeah.
So are you saying, I don't understand what you're saying, to a family who does not have an understanding of the agency that represents their interests as it relates to public health, public safety?
Are you?
Are you referring to where does it, with the families, where does it begin? With the families in the system? Is that what you're asking?
Do you agree that the family is an agency within a community?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're all a
So
part.
who has centrality over the family in this process that we are talking about? As Sue Ellen, the person that we are honoring, she empowered an agency within the men who were doing time. So they became productive. But now who has the centrality over the agency for these families that we are talking about reuniting? Who has centrality? Who's responsible for that?
Well, I think it
They all play a part.
takes a village.
Yeah.
That's my
They all play a part.
community, the correction, working with inside and out.
And it's also working with them to ensure that they get access to services the same as their returning family member does. Doing the work, pre-work, going, what do you need, what does your family need to be able to be successful, and ensuring that they get those services or find access to those services, eliminating barriers to those services.
Haven't you seen many families of those who are reentering into our communities? Haven't you seen how they have been broken down without the internal resources to fight back? Who has centrality over the agency that's supposed to respond to the taxpayers who pay for them to be in prison? Who has the authority?
I wish I had a better answer for you. I work in the community with the community.
I think we all take a part in trying to help that family that's struggling. And we all play a part if it's applicable to bring them back as a wholesome family. If it's not applicable, then we try to help them as where they're at to build on that. And I'm saying community, general community.
I don't mean to complicate situations. I'm just looking
Pretty complicated.
at the agency itself.
It is a very complicated situation, and I'm sorry that we can't solve all of our correctional problems in one day at this symposium. We're trying, but we can't get them all done.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we'll have to continue some of these conversations and continue to work so that we have less problems to deal with next year when we come back and have this again.
There you go.
Let's take a thank you to the panel for being here. Let's take a few minutes break so that we can get the other groups back in here, and we'll come back with the last panel today is the alumni panel. You will not want to miss that. That has our Reaching Out From Within alums here to tell their stories. So these are the moving stories you've been waiting to hear. Thank you.